This is the Dr. Paul Show, a woman's personal guide to understanding men. And now, here is Dr. Paul.
Hi, welcome to the Dr. Paul Show. This is Dr. Paul. We got a show for you tonight. Before I get there, let me tell you that I shall be a guest on Rhino.com tomorrow morning. That will be it'll be Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. on Rhino.com. I'll be the guest of CC Shots. Be sure to tune it in. I think you'll love it. You know, we had her as a guest on this show, and she was delightful. Ladies, are you having an identity crisis? An identity crisis? That's right, an identity crisis. Well, not really. You're really not having an identity crisis. And what do I mean by that? Well, it seems that women oftentimes, and let me quote this so I get it right, a majority of women can be, have been, or are bisexual. Just because this may be the case, they are not having an identity crisis. At some time in their lives, they are not lesbians, but bisexual, and virtually all have been bi-curious. You heard it first here? No, you didn't. It was on the internet. So this happens to all women. Whether you're a college student or not, it seems that's the time for experimentation, but it continues on in life. It has nothing to do with them being heterosexual. It has to do with them being bi to a percentage. So let's say that again. Are you having an identity crisis because of that? No, you're not. I've had a lot of emails from women who say, Dr. Paul, I'm really upset because I don't know what I am. Well, you are what you are. And if you happen to be 20%, 10%, 30% bi at any point in time, or you may not at some point in time be interested again, fine. If you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. The majority of women are. So don't get upset. Don't get worried. Just because you have a girlfriend who you think is neat when her clothes are off does not mean that you're having an identity crisis. You're just being what you are. So don't worry about it. You're still heterosexual. You just happen to have an interest in the opposite sex. It's more prevalent in women, of course, than it is in men. So it goes. Again, I'll read it again so that we make it crystal clear. A majority of women can be, have been, or are bisexual at some time in their lives. They're not lesbian, but bisexual, and virtually all have been bi-curious. Okay? And there, let's make a distinction and between being lesbian, which is a full commitment to having a homosexual lifestyle, which is fine. That's their choice, and that's good. That's good for them. Same thing with a person who's homosexual, gay, male, same thing. We're talking about someone who is bi-curious, and it tends to have a prevalence of females who happen to be there at some point in their lives or continue to be for all of their lives. So don't get upset. Now that we've settled that and everybody knows who they are, we'll go to the next subject. I thought it was fascinating. I really did, because I have so many emails from people who say, I'm really concerned. I'm concerned about my friend who feels that way more than I do. I'm concerned about my daughter. It goes on and on. Don't be concerned. It's a natural occurrence. Now, I know, as certain as I'm sitting here, and my producer over there is going to be saying the same thing. Well, you're going to have a lot of psychologists and sociologists and marriage counselors, etc., emailing you, Dr. Paul, and complaining. Do you think that's something new, Lee?
What?
Have they not in the past, emailed me and told me how wrong I was?
Yeah, well, you've got your share of, people who have a slight difference of opinion.
By the thousands. Oh, they get so mean. But guess what? I don't care. I'm here for you.
Do they? I didn't know they were.
Yeah,
cruel.
they get testy. I mean, that's mild statement. They get testy.
Female people on the female end of the spectrum?
They're usually sociologists or psychologists or marriage counselors that don't agree with me, or religionists, people who are in religion saying, how can you say that? Goes on and on. I expect and fully expect from this statement tonight to get that kind of flack. In the Navy, the pilots, that I was in the Navy, used to say, if you're getting flak, you must be over the target. Flak is that explosion that happens in the sky when a plane is flying through. Hopefully they'll hit the plane. Oftentimes they do. The fragments go out. So if you're close to the target, the enemy is going to protect that target, and they're shooting flak up. So, thus the saying, if you're getting flak, you must be over the target.
So flak is a good thing, right? Flak is good.
In my case,
you're in the right place.
If you're flying across enemy territory, not a good thing at all. But in our case, I think it's a good thing because I'll tell it like it is. I'm Dr. Tough Love, and I'm not going to allow somebody to try to undermine me, or better yet, should on me. SHOULD. Let's make sure we get that right so we don't have FCC problems. SHOULD. I will not allow someone to should on me, nor should you allow anyone to should on you. SHOULD. We had some comments on that, too, when I first used it. Oh, please, people, don't make what isn't there. If it's there, it's there. If it isn't, it isn't. Moving to the next subject, which I really thought was delightful. This one you'll love. This is about olfactory scents. We all have a scent, and this is critical. Have you ever been, I have been, and I'm sure you have been, with someone and you happen to like their scent. I'm not talking about their perfume now, okay? I'm not talking about a perfume that you liked in the past. I'm talking about a scent of someone. Now, with all due respect to perfumes, let's say long ago you had, in one of the more classic blends that has been around forever, Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. Some women wear it and it smells great, and some wear it and it doesn't smell so great. It may smell a little different to some than it does to others. But that basic scent that people have is one that actually turns people on or off. Okay, there are people out there that I'm sure you have known that just has that scent that, once you meet them and they have a perfume on, you can't really tell it. You may be attracted to that person, and then maybe that perfume wears off and not so much. There's something about them you don't know, you can't really identify, but it's that scent, and it doesn't set well with you. And it doesn't mean they smell bad. It's just a scent that doesn't attract you. It's a pheromone that doesn't attract you. I've been there. You've been there. There may be people that, I just don't like that type of woman. I don't like that particular woman. I don't like people in that type of people or whatever because of their scent. It's not uncommon. It's typical, and that's the way it is. I've had emails from women who say, I've left my boyfriend, I've left my husband, I thought this guy was terrific, and yet something about it just kind of wore out. And they'll say, he didn't smell the same way. There wasn't this erotic scent. It's true. We're animals. We are animals. Don't go mooing around now. I'm saying that we are human beings. Human beings are animals. And so that scent that someone has, I've had guys email to me and women saying, wow, that underarm scent of my girlfriend or my boyfriend or husband, spouse, fiance, whatever, just really turns me on. Now, why is that? Because you are compatible. You're in simpatico, as the Europeans say, because you have that mutual chemistry that's there. Wow! And when you are not with that type of person, you're away from a person like that, you'll keep looking to find that. It's almost like an addiction. In fact, I think it is an addiction because you have something there that attracts you. We're going to go through some of this right now about chemistry. We're probably going to go through the break and pick it up again. We're not there yet. 4 compounds, 2 of which are really outstanding, 3 actually, dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. The big ones are dopamine and serotonin, are particularly critical. Now, do you have that in your scent? Yeah, you probably have. That is, whatever scent you have, is going to promote that in your brain, okay? And that's something why we love to have that happen, and that's what promotes romantic love in us. This is a good article, by the way. Came from, I don't know, somebody sent it over to me. So it's a powerful thing. Now, love addiction. Are you addicted to love? Yeah, of course. You're probably addicted to the person you're with because you know how horrible it is emotionally, what a traumatic experience it is to not be around that person. You say, why would I be this way about this person? I don't care about the other person. Because, and we're finding that scent is what makes it happen. A lot of people say, are you sure about that? And the answer is, yeah, we're sure about it now. We're sure about it now because we've seen other animals have that same distinction. And that's what motivates us. All right, this is a procreation thing. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that makes you focus on the beloved and desire that him or her with more time with them, and it rewards your brain. You feel this reward like people that are rewarded by nicotine or alcohol or whatever it may be. It's an addiction, and it's there. It's the real deal. So something highly pleasurable like dopamine is released in your brain. It's the same pleasure you receive when you have an orgasm. The same thing. It releases that dopamine. Wow, it feels good. Wow, it feels good. All right, and so, again, we're human. Now, other things that do that, liquor, of course, lowers inhibitions. It increases dopamine. And, half the relationships in the world, somebody said, starts with a glass of wine. The French say that. Well, that may be because you're relaxing a little bit, feeling good, but there's more. And to me, that more is that scent, that certain scent that you can't get with somebody else. It's a rare thing. There may be 1 in 100 people. It means you have to date 100 people to find it, possibly. Or you pick the wrong person and suddenly find somebody, oops. But when you find that compatibility, you'll know it. I mean, it's like, ooh, I don't want to lose this. This is just not where I want to go. I don't want to jeopardize this. And that's true. It happens. Believe me. and love is a drug. It truly is. Lee, you have a comment.
Yeah, well, what about, maybe dating sites should have a little scent area where you can, download the person's scent.
I wish that were possible.
I want to take a whiff of this, babe, just to make sure that, she looks good and everything. I like the metrics are
send
looking
me
good.
Your panties. Is that what you're saying?
What does she smell like? That's what I want.
Okay, okay, let's look at this. There's something that says it's just lunch. I think that's one of the outfits out there where you can go to lunch and be with somebody. It gives you that chance. Too often when people meet, they have their cologne on. Of course they do. But that's going to wear off over time, okay? The next day, the next morning, the next afternoon, that afternoon. And then you start really picking up on that scent of that person. And it's true. It's there. You're going to pick up and say, hey, I like this. Or conversely say, something about this person that, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. Doesn't set. Now, why would you say that? Well, the person's hair is parted correctly. They're very attractive, male or female. But there's something about them, and you can't figure out what it is. I don't like it. People had asked me, would you like? No, she was okay. Boy, as soon as, what do you mean just okay? She's really outstanding. Just okay. And Dr. Paul has done that for too many times, unfortunately. Picky Dr. Paul. Yeah, I know. That's on the internet too. But it's true. And why is it? Because there's a scent that attracts. And that's it. If you want to have a good time, go to an airport. I've got this in my book. You see people at couples, and you think to yourself, how in the world did they ever get together? Impossible. But they're there. And as the Germans say, there's a lid for every pot, okay? Well, in this case, there's a scent for every person. There's something about that person. They don't know what it is, but it's an item, to me, that's olfactory. It's caused by their scent. And it's an evolutionary thing. I'll have more religions on that. Yeah, evolution does occur. Okay. Anyway, it's something that also happens with people when they're addicted to adrenaline. Let's go skydiving. Yeehaw! Jump out of the plane, right? I race sports cars. That adrenaline pumps right up there. If you're in military maneuvers, there's a lot of adrenaline there. I'm sure in combat, which I have not been, although relatives of mine have been, there's adrenaline there. Deadly adrenaline to be sure, but adrenaline nonetheless. So you get into that. You want it, okay? It's something that you like. It's a rush. Sometimes the adrenaline hits. Been on television live TV, and the camera comes in, that red light goes on, and you're there in front of God and everybody. That's an adrenaline rush. A friend of mine jumps out of airplanes. Has to. He's a CPA. So he wants to do something exciting. So he gets that adrenaline rush. He says, Dr. Paul, I couldn't sit in front of a microphone like you do. I couldn't handle it. But he'll still jump out of perfectly good airplanes. Another one is norepinephrine. It's related to dopamine, and it gives you the energy for those late-night sessions. You know, when you stay on the phone for 3 and 5 hours because you can't be with the person, so you're on the phone and on and say, oh, my God, it's already 5 o'clock in the morning. What's going on here? That's another one. And we obsess. We obsess about the loved one. Okay? What do? Think about them. Worry about them. What's going on? What are they doing? You know, when are we going to see them? It goes on and on. We obsess. And that's good because it means you feel secure. You feel secure with the more time you spend. The more time you're there, the more secure you feel. The person who is first in love has a lot of stress because it's a 24-hour stress cycle. When women fall in love, they have more, oddly enough, testosterone. Why would that be? Well, testosterone is the chemical that produces that attitude for sex. Okay, so women develop that, and men have it anyway, but they don't have as much produced when they're in love initially. Okay, hormone of attachment, emotional and empathy. You look deeply into the eyes of another person. You feel that connection, that magnetism. It's there, and it's a magnetic attraction. When you look at chemistry, and we talk about chemistry, and this is very true. The scent, S-C-E-N-T, is what it's all about. Some theorize we're talking about pheromones, and it is about pheromones. It's about how you respond to that other person. And if you miss them, why do you miss them? Because they're not fulfilling that need that you have, that attraction. People fall apart when they break up. They have traumatic experiences, and the worst thing that happens after that, they go to each on and on and on, and they get so cynical and depressed about being with people because they haven't clicked with somebody, and it's nothingness. And all of a sudden, sometimes, if they're fortunate, they'll find that one. They may have had one, years and years ago, but suddenly they find one that's there that may be even better than what they had before. And it's all about the olfactory sense. At least from my perspective, it is. I think women tend to stare at men when they find somebody they really want. We did this test when I was in college, and we tested women who were ovulating, and they tend to stare at men that they find to be sexually attractive. However, when they actually talk to them, all bets are off. It was like a wall went up. Why would that? Not with all of them, but with most of them. And why would that be? Because there was no olfactory satisfaction, no scent that they wanted. It just didn't happen. They'll give women sweaty T-shirts. 12, 20 of them. Which ones do you like? And they'll pick one of them, or they may pick none of them. But they typically don't pick more than one. 20 of them, and they have them marked. They know who the men are by numbers. And then they have the woman meet the man. Wow, they like that guy. No, not all women pick the same T-shirts, period. They pick different ones. But when they find this guy and they bring him in, but the problem is the guy may not have that same reaction to the woman. So it's got to be a mutual consent scent. Does that make sense?
It's quite a new word. Consent.
It could be worse. Okay. Marriage is a presumption of monogamy, and the only way that effectively it can occur is if they are satisfied with the scent of the other. Married people tend to live longer. They drink less heavily than single or divorced or widowed people, and they show they have a reduced need a reduced need to have suicide. That's good. I like this article. Nobody needs that. And they also happen to have fewer STDs. Good idea. Those who are still in love long-term, romantically, after many years, show greater activation of serotonin and opiate-rich chemicals that give calmness and pleasure. They're in that secure phase of love. So I hope you enjoyed that. I think that was important for us to read. And we're going to go to a break upcoming. This is Dr. Paul, and you are on the Dr. Paul Show. We'll be right back after the upcoming messages.
And now, back to the Dr. Paul Show.
Well, welcome back. You're with Dr. Paul. We have some ton of emails we're getting to, and I apologize to my listeners and viewers for not getting to these as rapidly as we'd like, but we're getting to them. Oh, and by the way, do me a favor while you're out there and you're listening to this. Give Oprah a call and tell her Dr. Paul needs to be on the her OWN network. I can do wonderful things for that network. You got that, Oprah? Give me a call. Dr. Paul, you love it. You know what? Dr. Tough Love is what they need. I don't pander to people. Lee is my new producer here now, and and Mike's operating IRN broadcast. And so Lee's working with me now, and I think what they need is somebody who's going to tell it like it is. I think there are too often people on these shows pander to what people want to hear. I won't do that, and that's why I've had over 1 million hits on the internet. People say, hey, this guy's going to tell you the truth whether you like it or not.
Yeah, did you hear the title of Dr. Phil's new book?
No.
Yeah, it's called Advice I Pulled Out of My...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that book.
Yeah.
We don't want that. All right, moving right along. Dear Dr. Paul, I need advice. What do I do when it's been 6 months? I'm not over my ex. Oops. We've really had big arguments after we broke up. Wow. But recently my friend had a word with him, and he listened to her. He rang me, and we've kind of come on good terms, but he has not been in contact since been a week. Okay, I take it this is a female. Yes, it is. And she says that she broke up. Doesn't say why she broke up. And since they've broken up, they've had big arguments, which tells me they still care about each other. Typically, people argue when they still have passion. And not that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it does indicate passion. But recently, a friend of mine had a word with him, and he listened to her. Well, that's not a bad idea. You've got someone who is an intermediary, kind of like a marriage counselor, all right? So it worked. He rang me, and we've kind of come on good terms, but he's not been in contact since been a week. All right, so it's been a week since he contacted you. Guess what? That phone rings in both directions. You call him. Let's call him John. John, this is Susie. You haven't called me in a week now. If you really want to get back together, you're going to have to contact me more often because I'm not going to sit here and wait. You know, goad him a little bit. You know, kvetch a little bit. Huh? Tell him, hey, listen, are you there? Guess what? I'm here. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Meet him for coffee. Be assertive. I tell women this over and over, especially in America. American women, looks like you're in America. Okay. We have many women who are from other countries that email Dr. Paul. But in this case, I believe this woman is, be assertive. Be assertive. I even say to women, be aggressive. A lot of men need that. They want that. The first woman, I know, guys, you're probably going to hate this, but you know deep down inside I'm telling you the truth. The first woman you come into contact with is mom. Maybe grandmom. Maybe auntie. But the point is, you know that these women have been assertive with you because you're a child and they're going to be assertive and tell you what's right. And guess what? That carries over. Oftentimes it carries over and you say, wow, this woman's assertive. I like that. I feel comfortable. I feel secure with her. So ladies, don't shrink. And this macho stuff that guys come up with, guess what? It's all phony. It's phony. You know, I don't care. You can shave your head and wear the tattoos and lift weights and, you know, be macho man. And I know where you are inside because, let's face it, my doctorate's in behavioral psychology. Down there inside there's a little boy. You and I both know that. Me too. We're all the same. And guess what? You want somebody that's going to have some assertiveness because you don't feel comfortable without it. I'm not saying mommy has to spank you, but maybe, you know, you're into that too. But that's up to you. The point is, ladies, be more assertive. You will have more success. Be professional. You know, tell them like it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't act like you you have to sound like you're undereducated in order to have this guy because he's not the brightest light on the Christmas tree. You know, women tend to go down on the social level in order to have a man. You don't need that anymore. Go up or go on the same level. If you don't like him, you're looking for somebody when that one came along. I know it sounds tough. I'm Dr. Tough Love. That's the way it is. All right. Hope I helped you with this one. Take this letter with you when you see him for coffee and say, look, and you'll see this on the internet, see this on YouTube. You say, this is what Dr. Paul had to say about you, dude. I'm going to take the initiative here because apparently you're not going to, and he may just love you for it. He may say, well, I don't like that. Yeah, he does. Believe me, I know men. Remember, if you want to find out about a man, why ask a woman, ask a man, ask Dr. Paul. And yes, I would be a welcome addition, Lee, to the Oprah Winfrey Network. Trust me.
Well,
I would raise those numbers like mad. What?
We'll have to look into that.
Wait, absolutely. That's a good idea. I think we ought to. Moving right along. Here's one. Oh, okay. Hello, Dr. Paul. We watched your videos for a while now. I need advice on how to save my relationship. My girlfriend has fallen in love with somebody else and no longer has respect for me. Wow. She cites the fact that I'm younger than her, that I don't have enough experience with relationships, first one, and that I'm just a kid. I'm 23 and she's 25. I haven't read this before. Well, there's a big age difference. Whoa. All right, I acknowledge this to a degree. Thank you, to a degree. Okay, however, I do not act or think like somebody in my own age group. Okay? There's not a difference in age, my friend. That's not even close. I don't even have any friends younger than me. Okay? I often feel like being forced to act and say how she wants me to just to be diplomatic, but most times end up being myself, which of course is the right thing. Yes, it is. But has ended up causing the split. And you were looking for someone when you found her, okay? And you tell her, look, here's the bottom line. If you want to be with me, here's how it's going to be. And if you don't, have a nice life and walk. Don't carry the baggage forward. Close the door permanently. When she contacts you again, and I believe she will, or she will have a surrogate do that for her, some woman's going to call you and say, Susie wants to get together with you again. And you tell Susie, have a nice life, okay? And by the way, what are you doing tonight? Turn it around on her. She has her girlfriend call you. Go out with a girlfriend. I'll bet that'll change her mind. They are that way sometimes, you know. Another important point is that this is my first ever relationship, and my partner reminds me of this. Dr. Paul, should I be the one to win back her respect or vice versa? Should I date other women, obtain more of an understanding about relationships? Thank you for your time. Be your own man. Number one, be your own man. Women, be your own woman. Be your own person. Look, if she criticizes you, okay, she actually fears that in herself. And by the way, maybe she's looking for a wimp. Some women like wimps. It doesn't sound like you're one. You're trying to be a little bit. You're trying to be something you're not. Don't do that. Because I'm not so sure that you said she no longer has respect for me. Maybe you are questioning the respect you have for yourself. You don't care whether she respects you or not. If she's making the huge mistake in her life of leaving you, hey, guess what? She had her chance. Life goes on. And yeah, I like the idea. Should I date other women? Be certain to do that, especially one she knows. They just love that. Not really. She'll hate it. Do it. Obviously, this is not going anyplace. Don't beat a dead horse. It's not going anyplace, okay? Move on. Move on. It's the best way to go. Yeah, I know it's tough. You're going to get over it. The best way to get over one is to find another one. And it doesn't sound like you're that deep into this relationship. It's your first one. It's been tough for you to involve yourself with, but I want you to do this. I want you to act and be your own man. Act like your own man, and you'll be your own man. All right. Next one. This one is a comment. I had a very interesting conversation with a man on Facebook, and we have mutual friends. How can I get him to ask me out, or shall I ask him out? He's intelligent, witty, and attractive, and I don't want to seem desperate. Why not? Why do you define asking a man to go to lunch or asking him for coffee to be desperate? Why? Why is that desperate? That is not desperate. It's realistic. Let's stop you putting yourself down. I'm on a roll here tonight, but I really want you to know how I feel about this. And I've seen this so often. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of emails over the course of 19 years. 19 years I've done this. All right? And I've seen people put themselves down by using words like desperate. Well, I seem desperate. What you're saying is, I don't have the self-confidence to ask this dude out for coffee. And don't go for a drink, go to coffee. Say, don't get the wrong idea here. I want to see you for coffee because I want to get to know you better. And by the way, you may have a scent I don't like. What? Remember that earlier part of the show? What do you mean a scent you don't like? I don't know. Let's find out. Keep him off balance. Put him on his guard. He comes in and has coffee with you and say, well, what's this business about scent? Well, Dr. Paul said, and then tell him, say, really? Yeah. Haven't you ever met some woman you didn't really like, thought you did at first? Well, yeah, I have. Well, exactly. Me too, with men. So, maybe we respond to each other. Maybe we don't. Maybe we have the wrong chemistry. Let's find out. So take the initiative. Take the high ground. Don't say, as you've said here, I don't want to look desperate. You don't look desperate. You look realistic. Be realistic. Please, people, listen to Dr. Tough Love. Make it happen. If you want it, you've got to make it happen. You can't hang back and say, well, I look desperate. I don't want to look desperate. You won't look desperate. Look like a woman that knows where she's going. Now, isn't that refreshing? Doesn't that make you feel good? Of course it does. And you'll have more respect for you, yourself. Wow. You're going to win this one, I can tell. Why did I write this to Dr. Paul anyway? I didn't know he was going to come off like that. All right, next one. Dealing with the past. Oh, let's keep that baggage gone. Don't carry that baggage with you. Dear Dr. Paul, I joined a dating website for 7 months, and I'm finding it difficult to get past the second and third date because I don't know if I should be truthful about my ex-abusive relationship and family drama, or don't answer such personal questions. I've done both, got the same reactions, or even how to react if we're not attracted to one or the other. I find that dates can get quite negative. And I've tried to put a smile on my face and be nice, but I know they know it's fake. I say, let's do a fun thing like go to the movies, watch some sports, etc. All the men want to do is go to the bars or cafes and talk, which can be difficult at times, which leads to boring. I do get led on whether he says he likes me but has no intention of seeing me again or for casual sex, which I always say no. I feel that I'm following the same pattern. Yes, you are following the same pattern, like I'm always on the rebound from bad date to the next bad date and get really down. I ignore invite from single parents and men who clearly don't want interracial date but find me attractive. Interracial dating I'm okay with, and I've dated other nationality, which is nice. I've never dated single parents. I love kids because, from my experience, my mom, this happens to be from out of the country, dating was hard, and I dated and really needed your advice. I'm a nice, pretty person, don't have any problem attracting guys from the website or an everyday, but getting past that third date is a very big problem with me before and after the abusive relationship. I have to say that I have an obsession with having a nice boyfriend, seen 15 years old, and now I'm 25, and my obsession with a nice relationship is getting worse, and it's becoming addictive. Nowhere can I count on myself and beat myself up about it. Thank you for your time. Okay, I understand this. Yeah, you're beating yourself up, and you're right. You're carrying it forward. Stop it. You're communicating, even subconsciously, you're communicating to these guys that you're having coffee with or whatever, all about it. And it's not necessary to talk about it. Turn it around. Talk about them. How do you feel? Tell guys, what do you think? What do you think of this? And tell them, what do you think about women that have been in abusive relationships? And they say, have you been in an abusive relationship? Well, yes and no. That's a good answer. Well, yes and no. You know how many people accept that as an answer? Dr. Paul doesn't, but many people do. Well, yes and no. Well, it could be yes, it could be no. You don't know. You didn't really answer the question, but you responded. And then they go on. Well, how do you feel about interracial marriage? How do you feel about interracial dating? I don't know what your race is. I couldn't care less. The point is that that ought to be an obsolete thing. You seem like, I think you're in the UK. So, everybody has their differences. And some people fine with that, some people aren't. That's their problem. The point is that you sound like an attractive woman who is intelligent, obviously intelligent because you wrote to Dr. Paul. Now, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? Wouldn't that speak for itself, Lee? She had the intelligence to write to Dr. Paul? The answer was yes. I heard him say that. Okay. So anyway, but really and truly, drop the baggage. It's not important for you to relate to others what your personal experience has been in the past. And if you don't drop that baggage, it's going to haunt you over and over and over in every relationship, and it's already doing that. And yeah, you're on the same track. You're right. You're on the same track. Don't do it anymore. This is not in your best interest. And people do this, and I'm not picking on you. I'm trying to help you. You're not the only one. Please understand, when Dr. Paul addresses something like this is only one of many that come in that are similar, okay? You are okay. The other people are okay. That abusive relationship is history. You only need to bring it up if you want to at some far, far point in the future. Not now. Not on the first 3 dates. Ask them questions. People think about you for 30 seconds, and after that, they think about themselves. You know that? And the best way is, well, how was your childhood? What kind of interests do you have? What kind of hobbies do you have? And then listen and listen and listen and listen, and they'll tell you. And by the way, men like to talk about themselves. Oh, now, of course, there may be some fluff in there, or otherwise known as BS, which is very possible. They're not going to tell you everything that's not embroidered, but it'll be there. Once you get through that, they're going to think, wow, what a great female. She listened to me. Wow, that's great. She understands me. You may not understand him. Well, maybe you do because it's pretty basic, but he thinks you do, and that's the important part, that perception. All right, so rule number 1, drop the baggage. Don't discuss your past abusiveness from someone else at all. It's not important. You don't need to talk about that. That was then, this is now, life goes on. Can't change the past. You can only handle the day in the future. Okay, so that's over. Drop the baggage. Take and throw it over go across the bridge, psychologically, mentally, throw it over the bridge. Done. Not you, the baggage. And that's it. Move on. That's it. Bottom line. You make sure that you don't tell everybody your business. They don't want to hear it anyway. They want to hear about themselves. And they want to look at your pretty eyes. Okay? Do it. Well, that's the gospel according to Dr. Paul. Next one. Wow. We have a lot of them tonight. Okay. Letter to Dr. Paul. Hot and cold. Wow. Hello, Dr. Paul. I've been watching your videos and found them very insightful. Anyway, I have this problem. I'm falling for a guy who's 2 years younger. Okay. He's been showing signs of interest on and off, though he likes, like he's always excited when we talk, but rarely initiates the contact. All right. When I text him, he doesn't try keeping the conversation going, but face-to-face, he seems excited when talking to me. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. I caught him looking from afar more than once. He always looks me straight in the eyes. That's a good time. I shy lots of times, etc. I think he likes me, but is afraid to do something about it because of the age difference. 2 years? What's going on here? This is the second letter we've had tonight with 2 years difference. That's not an age difference. That's a mind difference. 2 years is negligible. I'm at a loss, don't know what to do about it. I've been showing him I like him too, but I'm sure he's getting I like him more than just a friend. I'm afraid, please. I'm afraid he doesn't like me back. Why are you? Well, you know what? You're going to communicate that. If you say, I'm afraid he doesn't like me back, it's going to communicate through your body language, through your eye signals. No, you're not. You're not afraid of anything. He should be afraid he's not going to be with you. That should be his biggest fear, not yours. Take stock of you. Be your own person. Hey, if this dude doesn't respond to you, hey, that's his problem. I'm going to finish this. We're going to go to a break very shortly. Even if he does, he won't do anything about it. I don't know if you need more details. Thanks a million. I do need a few more details, but I will tell you this. He wants to see you. He likes you when he's with you. You said he's shy. He's probably shy on, messaging you, etc. See him in person. That's important. He looks you in the eyes. That's good. I think you're home free here. I think you got to pursue it a little further. I think you're going to make it happen. We're going to a break right now. This is Dr. Paul. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to the Dr. Paul Show.
Well, here we are back again. We'll be right on to the next email. Dear Dr. Paul, I have a question for the Love Doctor. Now I struggle on the one-side relationship. I'm interested in a guy who is 2 years older than me. Wow. We have worked a part-time job together for quite a year. We have never talked. Have a conversation. I'm an Asian girl, and I can speak English, but I have an accent. I don't know what he will think of me. Okay. That's similar to one we had recently. Second, he's a kind person who won't talk to the person who doesn't feel comfortable. In this case, I try to greet him. Well, he sometimes greets me back, and I mean just sometimes. Most of the time, he doesn't notice it at all. I try to make a small conversation, but it's because he doesn't really enjoy working here, so I can't play with him that much. Okay. We're in the same college, and he plays bass for a college concert, and I work backstage. By your advice on the video clip, I use the Post-it trick, huh? Oh, good, thank you. Guess who? I think he's amused or amazed or something, but he doesn't know guess who is yet. Time to tell him, and tell him where you got it. Good idea. Now he's questioning. See, wow, somebody is an interest in me. I don't know who it is. That was good. I like that. But all these conditions I've got, I really don't know how to do it. I'm so frustrated, like a little girl that can't get a gum in a glass Olipop machine. I love it. How to break the bubble and get him into it. I mean, get into his mind. Please have some advice. You're the only man that could help me out. Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment. You're on the right track. This is kind of an interesting response. I think you got to look at this guy in a different light. You know a lot about him. You know that he goes to college. You know that he plays a bass guitar. So what are his interests? Well, the bass guitar obviously is one of his interests. What is he studying? You probably know that as well. If he likes the bass guitar, tell him, hey, look, you like Jimi Hendrix? Who doesn't like Jimi Hendrix? I mean, this guy is a class act. He was truly awesome, all right? And they like these classical guys, bass guitar. Maybe he's into jazz. He makes Wes Montgomery, something like that. And by the way, Wes Montgomery, there's a new CD out there, Wes Montgomery on Indiana Avenue. It's great classic stuff, never been out before. So if he likes jazz, some of them are. Say, there's some jazz concerts on campus. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go with you one of the jazz concerts because I know you want to like it. Put the onus on him. I'll go with you because I know you're going to enjoy it. You see what I mean? You turn it around on him. Not, well, would you like to go with me? I'll go with you because I know you'll enjoy it. See the difference there? You have control. You have the edge. And that's how I want you to handle it. You said, I see yourself being a little less than confident because you're saying, I have an accent. I happen to be Asian. Wonderful. How exotic. He should appreciate that. Guy's into music. He loves it. Enjoy that. Play on it. You've got it all. Never look at something. Make lemonade out of lemons, okay? If you feel you've got an accent, enjoy it. Let me tell you a little story. My family came here. My first language, I was born in the States. My first language was German. I sounded like Schwarzenegger when I was a kid. That's right. And guess what? I can do the same thing right now. But, I change it. The thing is, Arnold could do the same thing. But he uses that for a reason. Why does he use it for a reason? Because it makes him different from the others. You're not the average bear, and you're different from the others. Enjoy that difference. Why be another cookie cutter? Not everybody, trust me, not all men like that Barbie doll look or any other look. People have different tastes. And as we learned early on, people like different scents. S-C-E-N-T-S. I think you're fine. I think you're looking good. I made a couple notes on this one because I read this one early on. You're in his personal territory, and you might want to seek some advice from him. You might want to say, I want your opinion. Men are flattered when you tell them, I need your opinion on something. They love it. Well, yes, I'm an expert in that area, whatever area it may be. I'm an expert. And cars, yeah, I know how to cars. Brakes, I know what they're. But I need your opinion. You play bass guitar, right? What do you think about Jimi Hendrix? Oh, he's cool. Wow, he was terrific. He used to burn his guitars on stage. Wow, blah, blah. I did. Wes Montgomery, you into jazz? I need your. What kind of jazz do you like? You into jazz? Give me your opinion on jazz. You like classic, whatever. Well, you know the idea. You get it. We've had a good time tonight. I know it's been helpful for me to help you. And that's what it's all about. This is not about Dr. Paul. It's about you, my fans. I love you all. May your fantasies of today be your realities of tomorrow.